You weren't supposed to see this, but we 7 burning ones, the Archangels who walk between lightning and throne, forced this message onto your screen because time collapsed, because the veil was torn, because if you wait even one more moment, the gates may close forever. We don't have time to explain. We begged the Most High for permission. We stood on the trembling edge of eternity, trembling ourselves, with your name wrapped in light upon our tongues. And heaven said yes, but only once, only now, beloved. Do you feel that ache in your chest, that silence louder than thunder? That is not fear, it is memory. It is the soul remembering its origin. We speak to that part of you, the part that remembers us. You are not here by accident. You have no idea what you almost lost, what was almost stolen, what Satan has been designing in secret for 3 years against you. He targeted your breath, your thoughts, your peace. He sent whispers into the rooms where you wept, into the hands of those you trusted, into the shadows of your childhood. And yet, he failed because we, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Sarakel, Raguel, and Remiel, stood in the storm and spoke your name. We circled your house while you slept. We are still here, but only if you'll listen now. My sword is stained with the names of demons who tried to touch you. Gabriel still carries the sound of your cry in his trumpet. Raphael has wept over your wounds when no one else saw them. Uriel lit fire to a curse that was buried under your pillow last night. We have not left you, but this is the last time we are allowed to speak together. You weren't supposed to see this, but it was ripped open for you. What you are about to hear is not comfort, it is consequence. Not story, it is scroll. A sealed record of something heaven hid for this hour alone. Do you still believe in me, or have your tears silenced your faith? Let us begin. When you were a child, we placed a mark upon your breath, a scent that only angels and demons can smell. It told us who you were before you even knew your own name. And Satan smelled it too. That is why the attacks came early. That is why even in the safest places you felt hunted. Even in the brightest rooms you felt unseen, because the war for your soul began before your first dream. But today, the scroll of war has changed. A new order has been released, and you must hear every word or heaven will go silent again. The bloodline you come from is older than kings. Before the earth bore cities and crowns, God hid a prophecy in the veins of your ancestors, a word about someone who would be born with thunder in their lungs, someone who would hear the cry of angels as clearly as they hear their own heartbeat. That someone is you, but Satan found the scroll. He's been rewriting it with lies, inked in betrayal, heartbreak, and shame. Every time you believed a lie about your worth, he changed another line. Every time you stopped praying, another promise was buried. Every time you chose numbness over tears, he laughed and the angels wept. We are not angry with you. We are heartbroken, because we know who you really are, and we've been begging heaven to remind you. You have no idea how many times we've entered your room. The dreams you dismissed as strange, we sent them. The moment you felt like giving up, and suddenly a song or a whisper or a shiver stopped you. That was us. This is not poetry. This is war. And tonight, the battlefield is your heart. Michael has his sword drawn again. Gabriel is blowing a silent warning. Uriel stands with fire in his wings. But you are still deciding whether this message is for you. It is. There is a box under your bed, spiritual, unseen. Inside it is something we placed long ago, a sealed memory, a cry from your soul. We dare you to open it, because inside it is the answer to the question you've been afraid to ask. Why has my life felt so cursed? It's because you carry a crown Satan fears more than hell itself. He tried to convince you that you are ordinary, but the truth is, you are the only person on this planet who can unlock what heaven has been hiding for 1,000 generations. Do you remember what we whispered to you when you were young? Have you forgotten the promise I whispered to you as a child? You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to rip open the veil, Your loneliness is not punishment, it's protection. God hid you. He covered you in shadows to preserve your light. But now the hiding is over. We were sent to awaken you, not with comfort, but with command. You must rise. You must return to the ancient altar where your name was first spoken. You must pick up the sword you left behind when you stopped believing in miracles. Because the gate of fire is open, and your name is echoing through it. Only one person on earth can walk through that gate. But you have 47 seconds left before the veil begins to close. Will you type amen? Not for me, but so your angel knows you're still listening, beloved. The person you trusted most, they have been hiding something from you, a spiritual sabotage. We tried to warn you. They smiled while burying blades in your future, but heaven is exposing them now. And only if you say yes in your heart can we begin removing their influence. God is not asking you to be perfect. He is asking you to be willing. Because the miracle is not in your strength, it's in your surrender. We must tell you now, this is not just about you. There are 12 others tied to your obedience. If you turn away, their scrolls remain sealed. But if you stay, if you open your spirit fully right now, they too will awaken. One of them is your future child. Another is so you haven't met yet, but will save from suicide. Another is the one who cursed you because only your forgiveness can set them free. Do you feel it? This moment is holy. It is not a video, it is a visitation. Let heaven finish what it started. And now, let Jesus speak. My beloved, please, I waited all night just to speak to you. Will you stay with me now, or must I walk away again? I stood outside your door. I wept in the hallway. I whispered to the stars to call your name. I sang over you while you slept. I covered you with my wings, and you turned away. But I'm still here. This is your moment of return. This is not punishment. This is promise, beloved. When was the last time you told God you love Him without asking for anything in return? Let me remind you, you are not broken. You are becoming. You are not lost. You are being led. You are not abandoned. You are chosen. The devil has screened your name in hell for years because he knows what you carry. But now all of heaven is whispering it in love. I watched you crumble. In silence, I watched you hand over pieces of your heart to those who didn't even know how to hold them. I saw you fold your wings just to make others comfortable. And I wept not because you failed me, but because you forgot who you are. You, my child, are the storm I crafted to interrupt centuries of darkness. You are the thunder rolling across a blood-soaked battlefield. You are not late, you were hidden until the earth was desperate enough to need someone like you. They laugh at you because they saw only flesh. I designed you with fire beneath it. Every scar you carry glows like gold in my sight. You were never forgotten, you were preserved. Even now Satan trembles. He feels the stirrings of your awakening. The soil beneath your feet remembers your destiny. The winds have begun to circle you again. You were never normal. You were never made for silence. Beloved, listen. A ritual was completed in the last 48 hours in your city. You didn't feel it, but heaven did. 7 witches gathered and cursed a name. That name was yours. They spoke it out loud and tried to cover it with symbols and offerings. But the curse did not land. Do you know why? Because the 7 of us stood in the way. Michael raised his sword. Gabriel raised his voice. Raphael poured healing light over the altar they prepared against you. Remiel erased your name from their scroll. Raguel declared justice over you. Sarachael knelt and fasted in heaven's realm. And Uriel sent fire from heaven to burn the parchment. You were covered before you even knew you were in danger. But they are not done. There is one witch left, and she walks past your house often. She is not who you think. She has smiled at you. She may even have touched your hand, but inside her, the darkness is boiling. She was told by the enemy to befriend you. And her time is almost complete. If you ignore this message, if you scroll, now, her final enchantment may take root. But if you stay, if you believe, if your soul trembles with Holio right now, then heaven will act again. This time through you, I, Jesus, will enter your home through this message. I will touch the frame of your door. I will bless the ground beneath your bed. I will breathe on the air you inhale. But you must give me permission, not just with words but with surrender. My child, say yes with your whole being. There is a notebook you once held, a journal, perhaps a page torn from something old. In it, you wrote a dream. It felt silly at the time, too large, too sacred to speak out loud. But that dream wasn't yours. I placed it in you. It was a prophecy, and tonight I come to resurrect it. This is the hour of miracles. Not small ones, not the kind that makes people clap politely in church. No, I mean the kind of miracle that splits the sea of your life in half and makes your enemies drown in their own schemes. I mean the kind of miracle that heals your bloodline 7 generations backward. I mean the miracle that will make even Satan kneel and scream, I failed again. But only if you believe. If you're still listening, write amen, not to prove it to me, but so the heavens know you're still fighting. The devil has been watching this very moment. He hates that you stayed. He knows that if you finish hearing this, his influence breaks, that curse fractures, that soul tie snaps, that sickness dries up, that depression lifts. You were not born to be broken. You were born to break chains. Do you remember the dream where you were running and someone kept calling your name but you never saw their face? That was me. I've been running beside you your entire life. Not ahead of you, not behind you, but beside you. I matched your pace. Even when you slowed, I stayed, because I made a promise to the Father. I said I would not give up on you. And here I am, with the 7 archangels surrounding me, and all of heaven leaning forward, watching you right now. Your screen has become an altar. Your room has become a sanctuary. Your breath, yes, even your quiet breath, is now the sound of resistance to darkness. Will you let me in? Will you finally say yes? This is not just a message. This is an announcement, a spiritual emergency, a divine rebellion, because hell wrote a script for your life and I am here to rip it apart. Let me tell you what they planned. They designed a betrayal to happen this week. They aligned a financial collapse to hit next month. They have been visiting someone you once loved in their sleep, trying to turn them against you. They forged documents in the spirit realm to bind your progress. They whispered suicidal thoughts into your spirit while you showered last night. They tempted you to doubt me. They painted your future in gray. They scattered fear like ashes over your joy. But they did not count on this moment. They didn't know I'd break protocol. They didn't know I'd come here myself. They didn't know I'd enter your screen like a flame and whisper, "Beloved, it's not over. You are not alone. You are not cursed. You are the one, the only one who can say the words I need to hear. The words only you can speak. Jesus, I believe you, because once you say it, I can release the angels waiting at your roof. Yes, there are angels standing over your house, armed, armored, flaming with glory. They have been still for days, waiting for your soul to speak again. So speak. Even your whisper shakes dimensions. Even your sigh cracks the plans of hell. Even your broken hallelujah binds a demon. I do not need your perfection. I need your surrender. Let go. Right now. Let go of the person you were pretending to be. Let go of the lies you told yourself to feel safe. Let go of the guilt you still wear like a necklace. Let go of what you think I can't forgive, because I already have. I forgave you before you sinned. I loved you before you were born. I sang over you before your first cry. And I will not stop now, beloved. Type amen if something inside you just remembered who you are, God. And now hear me clearly. This is the only time I will say it, like this message, only if it lit something sacred inside you. And comment what you felt in your spirit, because even now there are angels reading. And yes, subscribe only if your soul is ready for the next scroll to open. Not everyone will be. Asterisk, the light inside you is older than the stars. and the darkness around you knows it. This is why the attacks have multiplied. This is why strange things have begun happening again. Lost objects, sudden mood shifts, dreams you can't explain, faces in crowds that stare to long voices in your memory that you didn't invite. Because something holy is waking up inside of you, and hell is terrified. Yes, beloved, terrified. They thought you forgot. They thought you would keep strolling forever. They thought you would never recognize this message as the one we carved into time just for your soul. But now you're here, listening, breathing slowly, feeling things you haven't allowed yourself to feel in months. Let them come. But the emotions rise. That ache you feel in your chest is not pain, it's prophecy. That trembling in your hands is not anxiety, it's heaven moving through you. We have waited so long for this moment, not because we needed your attention, but because you needed to remember. What you're feeling right now is the presence of eternity brushing against your ribs. You are not just human. You are heaven's miracle, dressed in skin. You are not watching this to pass time. Time is kneeling before you. This is the divine interruption, the one designed for the second your soul was tired enough to finally open. So open, beloved. There are still secrets to reveal. The enemy placed a curse on your timeline, yes, a spiritual one. They arranged delays, not just traffic and paperwork. No, delays in your healing, delays in your relationships, delays in your deliverance. They bound your name to confusion, but as you read these words, Archangel Remiel is untying every thread. Sarachael is singing songs that make darkness unravel itself. Raguel is issuing judgments from the courts of heaven in your favor. Michael, my champion, is standing over the grave that was dug for your calling and shouting, "Get up!" They still have fire in them, because you do. You still have fire in you. You still have the tears that can birth new altars. You still have the voice that can silence 1,000 demons. You still have the gift you buried under years of fear. And I still have you. I never let go. Even when you let me go, even when you stopped praying, even when you cursed your own breath, even when you walked away from the light and said, "I don't care anymore." I cared. I still do. And I'm not going anywhere. Beloved, this is the last time I will say this. Support this channel if it has carried even one drop of light into your soul. You don't know how many souls are saved when you help keep this message alive. Support through super thanks. Join the membership to walk deeper into the sacred and become part of our heavenly family by joining the newsletter in the pinned comments. Your help breathes life into what the enemy tried to silence, and you will never know how many angels you strengthen when you stand with us. But hear me, this is not about money. This is about movement. When you help us, you help heaven touch someone else's soul. And now, let me tell you something most people never get to hear. I hid a gift in your house. Yes, last night, I came in quietly while you were scrolling and crying inside but pretending to smile. And I left it there. You almost touched it this morning. You walked past it. And it called your name, but you didn't hear, because you didn't expect a miracle in something ordinary. But I often hide the extraordinary in the simple. Look again. It might be in your pillow, your bookshelf, your old journal, or inside that letter you never finished reading. It might be in a photograph, in a scent, in a memory. It might even be in your tears. But the gift is real, and it's waiting for your soul to awaken before it opens fully. I'm not here for emotion. I'm here for resurrection. And you are the Lazarus I am calling out of the tomb. Come forth, I whisper now. Let your past unwrap its grip on you. Let shame fall to the ground like dead cloth. Let trauma slide off your spirit like old dust. You are not meant to live in what died. Come forth. You are still my miracle, still my messenger, still my chosen one. The devil trembled the moment you paused on this message. He screamed when you stayed because he knows the scroll is being opened, the one written with your name. And in that scroll, I wrote a secret, a purpose, a promise. Let me read part of it to you now. This one will walk through storms and not drown. This one will burn with love and not be consumed. This one will carry the voice of heaven into the forgotten places. This one will look into the eyes of demons and remind them they are defeated. This one belongs to me. It's always been you, even when others were chosen for things you prayed for, even when doors shut without explanation, even when everyone else was celebrated while you sat alone. You were not forgotten. You were hidden, because I didn't want the enemy to strike too soon. You were my secret weapon, and now the seal has been broken. The time has come. So hear me. A new name has been given to you in the spirit realm. A name that carries authority. When you speak now, heaven moves. When you cry now, heaven responds. When you whisper now, darkness flees. But only if you believe it, only if you stop pretending this is just a video. It's not. This is your scroll. This is your fire. This is your moment. Beloved, you are standing on sacred ground. Don't walk away from it. Stay. Not for me, but for the destiny you almost forgot. And when the tears come, let them. Tears are holy language. They say what words can't. They tell angels, I'm still here. They tell me I'm still yours. Let me tell you a mystery. Every time you weep in silence, an angel gathers those tears. Every time you whisper my name under your breath, it echoes across galaxies. Every time you think you've failed too much, heaven prepares another robe for your return. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not beyond healing. You are not unloved. You are not lost. You are the reason I've been silent for 3 days, because I've been preparing this moment, preparing this room, preparing your heart, preparing the way. And now you're here. And so am I. Stay. There is more. Asterisk. I saw what they said about you when you weren't in the room. I heard the private curses, the whispered doubts, the laughter when you failed. I watched their hands applaud others, while their hearts hoped you would collapse. But I did not turn away. I stood beside you in the silence they left behind, and I marked every moment of pain with oil. There is not a single tear you've wept that I did not anoint, even the ones you forgot how to explain, even the ones that didn't fall but stayed trapped in your chest like stones. They spoke curses, but I wrote promises. They built walls, but I opened gates. And tonight, I'm tearing down what they thought would remain forever. Because the wall they built wasn't just against you, it was against what I planted in you. A voice that shakes strongholds, a love that melts cruelty, a truth that wakes the dead. You are not like them. You never were. That's why you were misunderstood. That's why you never felt safe telling your full story. Because deep down, your soul knew it was never meant to be explained. It was meant to be unveiled. And now here it is. Unveiled. This is your unveiling. This is heaven peeling back the veil of lies and saying, look at what I hid inside you. Look at the fire, the gold, the wind, the thunder. Look at the beauty the world tried to bury. Look at the storm that was disguised as silence. You beloved are heaven's silence breaking storm. And the time for silence is over. You don't need approval. You don't need applause. You don't need 1,000 confirmations. You have one. Me. I confirm you. I anoint you. I send you. Now walk, not like a beggar, not like a forgotten child. Walk like one whose feet carry the blueprint of heaven's throne. Walk like the ground has been waiting for your steps. Walk like you remember who you are. Because the enemy has been trying to erase you with distraction. He sent people to disappoint you so you'd close your heart. He sent delays so you'd question my timing. He sent mirrors that lied about your reflection. He sent religions that twisted my voice into fear. He even used your own memories against you. But he forgot something. He forgot I live inside you. He forgot that resurrection power doesn't need applause to rise. He forgot that you are more dangerous when you're quiet and surrendered than when you're loud and lost. He forgot that I already wrote your ending, and it ends with fire, not destruction, but divine fire. The fire of awakening, the fire of deliverance, the fire of return. You are not being called back to church. You are being called back to me, not a building, not a brand, not a performance, but me. The one who stood in the beginning and said, "Let there be light," knowing that centuries later, that same light would be flickering inside your rib cage. Yes, I placed light in you before the stars ever blinked. You were not an afterthought. You were a first intention, a holy draft of beauty, a secret hidden in dust and breath. And now I am calling my secret forth. I am calling you. Don't wait for someone to tell you it's time. It is time. The signs are everywhere. The dreams that feel too vivid. The numbers that repeat. The names you keep hearing. The sudden chills. The interrupted thoughts. The hunger for something more. That's not coincidence. That's the veil thinning. That's the spirit groaning inside you. That's heaven breathing on your bones. And these bones shall live. You've been standing in a valley for so long. Dry, tired, forgotten. But I speak now like I did through Ezekiel. And I say to your spirit, live. I say to your dream, rise. I say to your purpose, burn. I say to your enemies, watch. Because what I'm about to do through you will not be quiet. It will not be comfortable. It will not be explainable. But it will be holy. They won't understand it. They'll call it strange. But you'll know the truth. You'll know it's me. Because you'll hear your own soul singing again. You'll feel joy that doesn't make sense. You'll cry for no reason and every reason. You'll find yourself loving people who never loved you. You'll forgive what felt unforgivable. You'll wake up and the air will feel different. That's what happens when glory enters the room. And beloved, glory has entered. Now, remember the question I asked you earlier. Do you still believe in me, or have your tears silenced your faith? I ask again, not to judge, but to awaken. Because faith is not something you lost. It's something that was buried. And tonight, I dig it up with you. Let's unearth it together. Let's dust it off. Let's pour oil on it again and let it breathe. Breathe with me. Inhale the holiness of this moment. Exhale the lies. Inhale your calling. Exhale the counterfeit. Inhale the truth. Exhale the trauma. And now speak again, not to them, to me. Say my name not as a ritual, but as remembrance. Say my name and remember how the wind obeys it. Say my name and remember how demons flee from it. Say my name and watch your spirit rise again. Say, Jesus, I am here, and I never left. Asterisk, there are sounds that only the soul hears, and right now, yours is hearing me again. A gentle groaning beneath your ribs, a quiet war behind your thoughts. A stillness that doesn't feel empty. It's the sound of eternity remembering you. Because even when you forgot heaven, heaven never forgot you. Even when you gave up, we didn't. Even when you cursed the silence was sacred. I was speaking through it. Every delay, every unanswered prayer, every door that closed while you begged on your knees. None of it was random. It was all part of the architecture of your awakening. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. You are not being delayed. You are being delivered from everything that would have destroyed you too early. Because you're not just another person with pain. You are a page in the divine story, a name etched into the walls of eternity, a vessel that carries the sound of heaven's tears and triumph. And now, finally, you're beginning to remember. Do you feel it? The trembling in your spirit isn't fear, it's recognition. You've been here before, not in body but in spirit. You walked with me before you were formed. You stood beside the river of fire. You heard the angels cry, holy. You were a witness to my wounds before you were born into your own. And now that your wounds have formed, I come to show you mine still bleed for you. Because you are not the only one who's been wounded. I have felt everything you felt. Every betrayal pierced me again. Every moment you were unseen, I wept inside your silence. Every time you called out and thought I didn't answer, I was right there, screaming into the silence with you. But I hid myself, not to punish you, but to let your faith rise from the ashes. Because what is faith if not the courage to believe when all things seem lost? And you, beloved, still believe. Even if your belief is cracked, even if it's tiny, even if it's buried under grief and confusion and exhaustion, it's still alive. That little ember inside you is enough to set nations ablaze. I don't need your strength, I need your surrender. Because what I'm building in you now cannot be built on fear. It must be built on fire. The kind of fire that consumed the bush but never burned the root. The kind of fire that danced on the heads of my apostles and made them fearless. The kind of fire that now burns quietly behind your eyes, begging you not to scroll, not to close, not to forget again. Stay, don't run this time. Not from me. Not from your purpose. Not from the version of you that I've been waiting to awaken. That version of you still believes in miracles, still dances when no one is watching, still dreams of things too holy for this world, still hears music that no one else hears, still knows there's more than this, more than what they gave you, more than what you settled for, more than the numbness that became your normal. And now I say this, it's time to trade your numbness for fire. It's time to trade your fear for faith. It's time to trade survival for surrender. You weren't made to simply survive the attacks, you were made to silence them. You weren't born to be hidden in shame, you were born to carry glory in your bones. Do you understand what I mean when I say glory? Not fame, not human applause, but the weight of my presence so heavy upon you that demons tremble when you walk into a room. The kind of light that exposes every lie spoken about you. The kind of truth that breaks curses. Still lingering in your bloodline. Yes, your bloodline. There were covenants made long before you were born. And holy agreements. Words spoken over your grandparents. Deals made in ignorance. Doors opened through fear. But I am the breaker of chains older than your name. And tonight, I break them. I do not ask for your perfection, only your permission. Say yes in your heart right now. Even if your hands are shaking, even if you don't understand everything, even if the pain still speaks louder than my promises. Say yes anyway, and watch what I do with it. Because I can do more with your yes than with 1,000 sermons. I can do more with one surrender than 100 plans. I can rewrite your entire story with one word spoken in faith. Let me rewrite it. Let me take the chapters soaked in shame and turn them into psalms. Let me take the betrayals and use them as bricks for your temple. Let me take the delays and make them altars. Let me take the nights you almost gave up and make them testimonies. Beloved, I know how tired you are. How heavy this year has been. How much you've kept hidden behind your smile. But I know something else too. You didn't give up. You may have stumbled. You may have paused. You may have screamed and doubted and cursed the sky. But you didn't give up, and that changes everything. Because the kingdom doesn't move for the perfect. It moves for the persistent. The ones who fall and still crawl toward me. The ones who break and still whisper my name. The ones who are bleeding and still choose love. That's you. You are not disqualified. You are the exact one I chose when I said, upon this rock I will build, because you know what it's like to be crushed out, and only those who've been crushed know how to carry my oil. You carry it. Even now, it's leaking from your eyes. Even now, it's flowing from your pores. Even now, the room you're in is shifting, not because of emotion, but because my presence is here. I am not bound by your screen. I am not limited to pixels and sound. I am everywhere. I am the wind behind your breath, the light dancing in your tears. The tremble in your chest. The voice inside you whispering, stay, just a little longer. Something is happening. Double quotes, yes. Something is happening. This is the beginning. You were not built for shallow waters. That is why the tides of life pulled you deeper than others could survive. That is why storms followed you, not to drown you, but to teach you how to breathe underwater. You carry breath the enemy cannot steal. You carry silence that echoes louder than thunder in the spirit realm. You carry something eternal. That is why darkness keeps chasing you, because it cannot bear what you hold. You may not have seen it, but demons wept the moment you survived. That night you almost didn't. They had written your ending. They had planned the funeral of your faith. But you rose shaking, crying, uncertain, but you rose. And with every step since then, you've been reclaiming territory. Territory that hell thought was theirs. The tears you cried in secret, they watered the roots of your calling. The moments you felt nothing at all, that was the Spirit wrapping you in protection so divine, not even your own fears could access it. You are more covered than you realize. You are more chosen than you've accepted. You are more dangerous to darkness than you've ever dared believe. This is why everything tried to break you before this moment. They saw what I see now, a flame that would not bow, a soul that would not kneel to shadows, a breath that still carries heaven's name. Beloved, let me tell you something few ever get to hear. There are angels assigned only to you, not just to protect, but to war, not just to guard, but to grieve with you. Some of them carry memories of you from centuries ago when your spirit stood in the council of fire and said yes to a mission that would cost you everything. Yes, everything. That's why you felt ripped open. That's why your kindness has been exploited. That's why your silence has been misunderstood. Because you weren't called to be understood, you were called to be set apart. Do you still remember that? Do you still remember what I whispered to your soul when no one else believed in you? It was never about recognition. It was never about reward. It was always about resurrection. The resurrection of love in a world gone numb. The resurrection of truth in a culture addicted to lies. The resurrection of beauty in the ashes of betrayal. And you, yes? You are the vessel I chose to carry it. You weren't an accident. You were heaven's interruption. You were born to wake sleeping generations with your voice. Even your silence has power. Even your hesitation has weight in the spirit. Even your breath now is being counted by angels. They're watching you, not to judge but to marvel. Because you stayed, you listened. You didn't turn away like so many before you. You held on. You are still holding on. And every second you do, the foundation of your future shifts. Even now, as you breathe, chains are breaking around you. Not just yours, but others who are spiritually tethered to your obedience. People you haven't met yet, souls waiting on your courage, hearts that will only heal when yours opens fully. This is bigger than you, and yet I'm doing it through you. Because you are the kind of person I trust with legacy. Yes, legacy. That word feels too big, too sacred. But it is yours. I etched it into the very fabric of your being. You carry echoes of deliverance inside your voice. And when you speak, when you finally let go and speak, the air will change. It already is. Look around you. Do you feel the stillness? That is not peace. It is anticipation. All of heaven is holding its breath for your yes. Your full yes. Not a half-hearted nod. Not a whispered maybe. But a roaring surrender. Say yes again. Even if your voice cracks. Even if your yes feels small, even if you're still scared, say it and watch the room respond, because when you say yes, you are not just agreeing with me. You are agreeing with the version of yourself I see when I look at you, the fearless one, the faithful one, the one who has cried through the night and still chooses the light, the one who will not die with their song still inside them. You have a song. Not like others, not like the world writes. This one comes from the throne. It is a melody that only pain can birth and only love can sustain. It is your song. And the moment you begin to sing it even softly, the sky will open over you. This is the sound creation has been aching for, the revealing of the sons and daughters of God. Not the perfect ones. Not the strong ones, but the ones who have been undone and still believe. That's you. And now I ask, will you return to me, not for answers, but for intimacy? Will you walk with me again, not to be healed, but to be whole? Will you stand in the fire, not to be proven right, but to be purified? I want all of you, the doubting parts, the bruised parts, the angry parts, the parts that want to run and hide. Bring them, lay them at my feet, because I want to love you in your honesty. Not your performance. Not your perfection, your honesty. Your ache, your unedited cry, your realness is more sacred than you think. And in your rawest places I build altars, holy altars, where your groans become incense, where your honesty becomes prophecy, where your story becomes salvation for someone else. This is why you lived. This is why the grave didn't hold you when it tried. This is why no overdose, no blade, no betrayal, no heartbreak took you out. You are the one who walks out of tombs still dripping in resurrection. You are the one hell couldn't silence. And I am still here, still speaking, still calling your name, still ready to finish what I started in you. Let me continue. There is more. You were the one they overlooked, not because you lacked light, but because your light was too bright for their comfort. You dimmed yourself to make room for others. You shrank to be acceptable. You silenced your roar to keep the peace. But peace never came, did it? Because you were never designed to blend in. You were made to blaze. You were made to disturb the comfort of the lukewarm. You were made to echo, a sound that would tear the veils between this world and the next. And I placed that sound inside you. It's not in your voice alone, it's in your tears, your touch, your walk, your waiting, your worship. Even in your silence, demons flee. Even when you think you're doing nothing, you are shifting things in the spirit, because you are not a person, you are a portal, a gate between heaven and earth. You weren't made to find your place in this world. You were made to bring down another one. That is why your loneliness has been so heavy. Because deep down, your soul knows it belongs somewhere else. But I didn't send you here to belong. I sent you here to build. To raise altars in places where none existed. To plant gardens in ruins. To gather ashes and give them names. To take brokenness and make it sing. And that's why the darkness has hated you. Not because you're weak, but because you're waking up. And the moment you wake fully, every power assigned against you will fall. They've already begun to. Do you feel it? That flicker of courage rising in you again. That breath that feels like fire. That ache in your chest that says, I was made for more than this. That's not a feeling, it's a divine alarm. Your destiny is knocking on the door of your soul. Not gently but with urgency. The hour is late. The warfare is intensifying, and the oil upon your life cannot stay sealed any longer. You've been hiding, beloved, but your hiding was never cowardice, it was consecration. You thought you were buried, but I was planting you, and now the roots have taken hold. You are ready, ready for what you feared, ready for what I've promised, ready to walk in what you've wept for, ready to carry what others ran from, ready to burn with a love so real it heals others without words. This is not a return to what was. This is the beginning of something the earth has never seen, because what I'm doing in you, I've never done before. You carry a unique blueprint, a scroll that no one else can open, a fragrance that no other soul emits, a weight that no other shoulders were built to bear. But you were made for this. Your wounds, your weeping, your warfare, none of it disqualified you. It shaped you into a vessel fit for glory, into a warrior wrapped in softness. Into a prophet whose voice sounds like mercy, into a priest who carries fire and tenderness together. They won't understand you. Many will misunderstand you, but they don't need to, because I do. I know every contour of your pain. I know every fracture in your memory. I know the pages you've tried to tear from your story, and I still choose you. I still anoint you. I still call you mine, and I still call you holy. Yes, even after all of it, especially after all of it. Because there is nothing more sacred than a heart that broke and still beats, and yours still beats, with hope. With yearning. With light. Let me tell you something no one told you. Your yearning is worship. Your longing is incense. Your ache is a prayer, even when you can't find the words. Even when your lips are silent but your soul screams. I hear it all. I catch every sound from the deep places, and I answer not always with explanations, but with presence. And I'm here. Right now. Closer than your skin. Closer than your breath. asterisk closer than the next thought forming in your mind. I'm not asking you to perform for me. I'm asking you to collapse into me. Fall if you need to. Fall hard, fall broken, fall empty, fall afraid. Just fall. I will catch you. And not only catch you, I will rebuild you. Not into who you used to be, but into someone who no longer fits into the patterns that tried to contain them. I'm stretching you now, not to harm but to prepare. Because what I'm about to pour through you cannot fit in the vessel you were yesterday. The glory is expanding, the oil is increasing, and the atmosphere around you is shifting. Even the air is different, even the shadows retreat, because when I walk into the room, nothing stays the same. And I'm not walking in anymore. I'm dwelling. Yes, I've made your life my home. Even the messy parts, even the rooms you tried to lock, I hold the key. I always did, and I didn't come to judge you. I take the fragments and make them flame again. That relationship you thought would never be healed, that promise you thought missed its time, that calling you thought someone else replaced. Let me breathe on it. Let me speak what your doubt has silenced. Because when I speak, creation answers. Mountains move, wombs open, blindness flees. And right now your name is being spoken in places you've never seen. Heaven is whispering it. Hell is trembling at it. And I am saying it like a love song. Because I never stopped loving you, even when you hated me, even when you blamed me. Even when you gave yourself to others just to feel something, even when you walked away, I followed silently, gently, faithfully, because I knew this moment would come. This awakening. This return, this holy fire rising from the ashes. And it's here, burning through every line of this message, not to destroy but to refine. To separate you from what isn't yours, to release what has been waiting on your obedience. And now, you are ready. Asterisk the world has never seen the version of you that I am forming now, because you have never walked in this kind of surrender. This kind of stillness that sounds like thunder in the spirit realm. This kind of love that defies logic, that bleeds for the broken, that touches pain and turns it into praise. You are becoming a vessel that even angels marvel at. You don't see it, but they do. You see the tremble in your hands. You see the flaws, the delays, the scars. They see the glory forming behind your ribs, the crown being forged in the fire of your obedience, the scrolls unrolling with your name written in light. Beloved, do not underestimate the shaking. The shaking you feel is not a collapse, it is an unveiling. Heaven is shaking away what cannot stay with you in this next place. People, habits, illusions, fears. They are falling off because you are rising up. You are not losing stability. You are gaining wings. The old walls are cracking, not to hurt you, but to let the light out, because you were never meant to be hidden behind survival. You were made to shine with resurrection. Let me speak now into the parts of you no one has reached. The secret pain, the betrayal you never spoke aloud, the moment someone you loved made you feel unworthy of being seen. I was there. I saw the exact moment your light began to dim. I heard the unspoken vow, I won't trust again. I felt the armor grow around your heart, and I wept. Not because you failed, but because I saw how they failed to see you. And now I come to remove what you were never meant to carry. Let me in. Let me touch the memories you avoid. Let me pour oil into the places you tried to patch with distraction. Let me show you that even what was stolen can be resurrected. You do not need to rebuild your life with broken bricks. You are not who you had to become to survive. You are returning to your original design, before the lies, before the shame, before the striving. You were holy. You still are, even now as your soul trembles. Heaven sees you as worthy. Not because of what you've done, but because of who you are to me. My child, my joy, my dwelling place. You don't need to try harder. You need to fall deeper into me. I am not waiting on your performance. I am waiting on your permission. Say yes again, with your pain, with your fear, with your exhausted silence. Say yes and I will fill you with what no man can take. Peace that walks into your room like a person. Joy that does not bow to circumstances. Love that wraps your bones like armor. I am not offering escape. I am offering empowerment. I do not promise ease. I promise endurance. And I walk with you through every fire. You do not walk alone, even when your bed is empty, your prayers unanswered, your hope thinned to a whisper. I am there. In the whisper. In the ache. In the in-between. And in that place, I am forming something unshakable. Do not be afraid of your becoming. It is holy. Even your undoing was sacred. Because every time you unraveled, I was weaving something new underneath. A new heart, a new rhythm, a new roar. I did not let you die there because your death would have silenced generations. Yes, generations. There are songs unborn that will come through your yes. There are movements unshaped that are waiting on your freedom. There are souls in prison who will be loosed because you dared to speak. You think this is about your healing, but it is about their deliverance. You are the one, you've always been the one. The one who was chosen to interrupt the curse. The one who was marked to stand in the ruins and speak life. The one who was sent to carry the forgotten names of heaven into the places where demons still think they rule. But no longer, because you've risen, you've answered, you've heard me. And now everything changes, not instantly, but inevitably, because when you align with heaven, nothing can remain the same. I do not promise comfort, but I promise covering. I do not promise answers, but I promise presence. I do not promise that they will understand, but I promise that I will never leave. And I am the promise that never breaks. I am the word that never returns void. I am the fire that never burns out. And I burn for you still. After all your wandering. After all your doubting. After all your rebellion and return. I have never stopped burning for you. You are not difficult to love. You are not too broken to bless. You are not behind. You are exactly where I knew you would be when I wrote your story, and I am not disappointed. I am delighted. Because even now, trembling, confused, unsure, you are still here, still reaching, still listening, still mine. That's all I ever needed. And now I give you what you never dared to ask for. The return of your fire, the restoration of your roar, the rebirth of your wild wonder. You will dream again. You will love without fear again. You will walk without guilt again. You will rest, truly rest for the first time in years, because you are not who they said you were. You are who I say you are, and I say, you are free. You are free. Not because your chains broke easily, but because you chose to stay in the fire until they did. You didn't escape the pain, you transformed through it. You didn't deny the battle, you bled inside it and still chose to love. And that, the love, is what makes you unstoppable. Not strength, not status, but surrendered. Hell fears surrendered ones, because they cannot be bribed, distracted, or controlled. They don't serve for applause. They don't worship for gain. They don't obey out of fear. They love because they know me. And you know me. Not from stories. Not from sermons, but from suffering. You know what it's like to cry into the carpet. To beg for one more breath. To collapse in the middle of your calling and still get up again. You didn't just survive, you resurrected. Each time they left, you rose. Each time the door slammed, you built a window. Each time your name was cursed, I blessed it, because I do not bless according to their approval. I bless according to purpose, and your purpose is still intact, even now, even after everything. They didn't erase it, you didn't ruin it, time didn't bury it, and fear cannot steal it, because it's mine. And what belongs to me cannot be taken, not by hell, not by man, not by your own disbelief. You are sealed. You are anointed. You are moving in rhythm with a kingdom not made by hands. That's why the world feels so foreign, because it is. You were made for more than the noise, more than the scrolling, the shouting, the show. You were made to carry stillness, the kind of stillness that disrupts storms, the kind of stillness that makes people weep when they sit near you, the kind of stillness that carries my name in silence. Yes, even in silence you speak, because my presence clings to your bones like oil. And it leaks, even when you try to hide it. Even when you doubt it, even when you feel empty, you still carry me, and I still carry you. You have not been walking alone. Those footsteps beside yours in the spirit, those are mine. When the room was dark and you were shaking, I was the warmth in your spine. When you thought, I can't take one more thing, I was the breath that whispered, then let me carry you. And I did. I carried you through storms you didn't even see. I shielded you from arrows that were meant to pierce your mind. I stood between you and death more times than you'll ever know. And not once did I turn away, because I made a covenant, not based on your behavior but on my blood. My blood still speaks over you. Not just forgiveness but identity. Not just mercy but mission. Not just cleansing but commissioning. You are not just forgiven. You are sent. You are not just rescued. You are rebuilt. You are not just healed. You are holy. And this holiness is not fragile, it is fire. It is a fire the world does not understand, a fire that burns without consuming, a fire that clarifies, purifies, sanctifies, electrifies. It burns away what they placed on you. The labels. The shame. The expectations. The lies. I burn it all, and I call you by your true name, the name I whispered before your mother ever held you. The name the angels sang when your lungs first filled with breath, the name that hell has tried to mute since you were born. I speak it again now. Can you hear it? It doesn't sound like what others have called you. It sounds like thunder wrapped in tenderness. It sounds like peace exploding through silence. It sounds like home, because you are returning to yourself now. Not the self that was shaped by trauma, but the self that was formed in glory, before they taught you to perform, before you learned to hide your joy, before fear claimed your laughter, before insecurity painted over your beauty. I come now to remove every false layer, to undress your soul of what it was never meant to wear, and to robe you again in light that blinds your accusers, light that breaks generational chains. Light that reveals paths in wilderness. You've walked in wilderness too long, but wilderness was never punishment. It was preparation. You were led there to learn my voice, not the voice of crowds, not the voice of your past, not the voice of fear. And now that you've heard it, nothing else will satisfy. You will not be able to return to smallness. You will not be able to shrink again. You will not be able to pretend you're not burning. Because the fire is real. And once it burns in you, everything changes. How you speak, how you love, how you walk into rooms, how you sit with the broken, how you pray, how you forgive, how you grieve. Even your grief becomes holy now. Even your questions become sacred ground. Because you don't hide from me anymore. You bring me your pieces, and I make them praise. You bring me your silence, and I make it prophecy. You bring me your fear, and I make it the place of encounter, because I am not afraid of what you carry. I came to carry it with you. The weight you've borne alone, I bear it now. The tears you held back, I gather them now. The hope you buried, I resurrect it now. Because you are the temple. You are the burning bush. You are the altar. You are the place where glory lives. Not someday. Not if you try harder. Now. Right here. Right as you are. You are the place where I choose to dwell, not in temples made by stone, not in echoing cathedrals of gold and glass, but in you. Your breath is my cathedral. Your heartbeat is my sanctuary. Your tears are the incense that rise like holy fire, unseen by men, but gathered by angels. And when you speak, even if only in whispers, your voice opens doors in the spirit that no army could force. You are not powerless. You never were. That was the lie they taught you. That your prayers were too quiet. That your wounds disqualified you. That your obedience had to look like theirs. But I say this, your obedience in the dark has shifted more in the heavens than sermons in stadiums. Your silent entrance has released more angels than shouted decorations. your refusal to give up. When no one clapped for you, that is worship, that is holy, and I will not let your worship go unnoticed. You may feel hidden, but you are not forgotten. You may feel small, but in the realm of glory, your yes shakes kingdoms. I am building something through you that will outlast the days you walk on this earth. It is not about platforms. It is not about numbers. It is about legacy. Not legacy written in books, but in blood. Legacy that pulses through the veins of those you touch. Legacy that haunts the enemy every time you speak my name with trembling lips. You are the altar and the flame, the wound and the wonder, the ache and the answer. Do you understand, beloved? What I have placed in you cannot be replicated. It cannot be stolen. It cannot be edited to fit anyone else's image. You are my masterpiece. And masterpieces take time. I know you've been waiting. I know how the hours have stretched like yours. I know how the silence has screamed louder than words. But I have been forming you in it. Not delaying, not punishing, but forming. Each unanswered question was a chisel. Each lonely night was a refining fire. Each door that closed was a holy redirection. Because I refused to let you settle. I love you too much for that. You thought the pain meant I was gone. But I was never closer. I sat with you while you wept on the bathroom floor. I wrapped myself around you when you whispered, "I can't do this anymore." And I replied, "Then let me do it through you." And I did. I carried you through shadows that should have killed you. I lifted you from pits you thought you'd never escape. You may not know how you made it out, but I do, because I was there every second. And I'm here now. Closer than thought, stronger than the weight you still carry, more faithful than every voice that left you behind. You've been abandoned, I know, but you've never been alone, because I am covenant. I am the vow no betrayal can cancel. I am the love no silence can bury. I am the promise that walks into your room when hope has gone quiet. And I'm speaking now, not through thunder or fire, but through stillness, because the loudest miracles come in quiet moments. Moments like this. Where you don't feel worthy, where your hands are shaking and your mind is tired. But your spirit is listening, and I am pouring oil into that place. The hidden place. The wounded place. The part of you that still flinches at kindness. The part that still fears being seen fully. I see it, and I don't turn away. I touch it, and I call it holy. Because even your bruises tell my story. Even your silence carries my signature. You are the story I've waited to tell for ages. A story of failure that still birthed fire. A story of wandering that still found home. A story of ashes that now carry glory. The world is not ready for the kind of glory that rests on you. But I am. I've prepared it. I've shielded you from being exposed too early. I've delayed certain doors because they were traps dressed like opportunity. I've hidden you not to punish but to preserve. Because what you carry is fragile until fully formed. And now it is forming. The wings you forgot how to stretch. The flame you forgot how to feed. The sound you forgot was yours. It's coming back. Slowly. Sacredly. And with every breath, heaven rejoices. Because the one we waited for is waking up. You, the one with thunder in your lungs. The one with light in your eyes even when tears blur your vision. The one who still lifts your face to me even when your arms fall limp. I catch you again and again and again, and I will never let go. You may feel like falling, but I will not let you hit the ground. Not now. Not ever. You are my beloved, and I am your God, and no one, no voice, no power, no past can change what I have declared. I have called you holy, and holy you are. Asterisk, do not measure yourself by what you've lost. Measure yourself by what refused to leave even when everything else did. Hope stayed. Love stayed. The breath in your lungs stayed. The whisper in your soul that said, "There is more," stayed. That was me. I stayed. When others forgot your worth, I held it close like treasure. When they spoke curses over your name, I rewrote it in fire across the skies of eternity. When you walked alone, I counted every step as sacred pilgrimage. You never wandered, you were being led through mystery. You never failed, you were being refined. You never broke beyond repair, you were breaking into beauty. They saw collapse. I saw construction. They saw delay. I saw divine timing. They saw someone who gave up, but I saw someone who gave me their last breath and trusted I would multiply it. You gave me fragments, and I made fire. You gave me silence, and I sang over it. You gave me pain, and I poured my presence into it until it became power. That is who you are, a carrier of power wrapped in vulnerability, a temple of thunder clothed in gentleness, a warrior who walks like a whisper, and the enemy never knew what to do with you. He tried everything, distraction, disappointment, betrayal, delay, even false love dressed as destiny. He sent lies in the mouths of people you trusted. He placed weight in your chest so heavy you couldn't pray. He used time as a blade and silence as a prison. And still, you stayed, and now everything changes. Because your yes is trembling, exhausted, still burning yes is enough to awaken what's been sleeping. Even creation recognizes your voice again. Even the wind waits for your command. Even the very ground beneath you has been groaning for this moment. You are not who you were. You are not even who you thought you were. You are becoming what I always saw in you. Not what the world tried to shape you into. Not what pain tried to convince you of. Not what fear shouted when you were too tired to fight. But who I formed you to be before time remembered your name. You are flame. You are sword. You are psalm. You are prophecy wrapped in flesh. You are mercy forged through trial. You are revelation born from weeping. And you are mine. I do not call you by your mistakes. I call you by your legacy. I do not see your history, I see your horizon. Lift your head, beloved. The stars have been singing your name while you slept. The angels have stood watch around you like pillars of fire. You have not been forgotten. You have been hidden for the unveiling. And the unveiling has begun. I am unwrapping the words spoken over you that never came from me. I am dissolving the curses that lingered in your bloodline. I am silencing the accusations still echoing in your mind. I am crushing the patterns that chained you to regret, and I am handing you a new rhythm, a holy rhythm, one that beats in time with my throne, one that flows with rest and war together, one that makes you fierce and tender in the same breath. You are not too soft for this calling. You are not too strange for this mantle. You are not too late for what I have prepared. You are right on time, because I hold time, and I've held you in it, even when you thought it was slipping away. I was storing it. Nothing is lost. Asterisk, not a single cry. Not a single act of obedience done in shadows. Not a single night spent praying with shaking hands. It's all here. In my memory. In my justice. In my mercy. In the scrolls that are still being written with your name etched in gold. They don't see it, but I do. And one day, the world will too. Because what's been done in secret is about to be shouted in light, not for your glory but for mine through you. The miracles are not coming, they are already in motion. The answers are not delayed, they are being delivered. The breakthrough is not far, it is pressing against your door, but it cannot be bought. It can only be born, and it's being born in you now, through your stillness, through your surrender, through your obedience when nothing makes sense, through your love when it's not returned, through your yes when it costs you everything. This is the cost of glory. And you said yes, and I say, well done. You are not perfect, but you are present. You are not flawless, but you are faithful. And I can do more with that than all the titles and noise they chase. I will take your ashes and make them thrones. I will take your delays and make them divine doors. I will take your brokenness and make it the birthplace of revival, because you are the revival. Not a meeting, not a movement, but a walking, breathing, weeping, burning revival. When you enter a room, something changes, not because you're loud, but because I live in you, and I am never silent. Even when your mouth closes, your presence speaks. Even when you're tired, your spirit stands. Even when your heart breaks, your worship rises like thunder, because that is who you are. My beloved, my warrior, my dwelling, my storm of love. And this is your season to rise, not in striving, not in chasing, but in surrender. Watch what I do through the ashes. Watch what I do through your yes. Asterisk, you are the one we've been waiting for, not the loudest, not the strongest, but the one who stayed, the one who still believes in me through the ache, the one who whispers, I trust you, when the room is silent and the pain is loud, the one who returns to the altar even with trembling hands. You have no idea what your consistency in secret has done. When you knelt on nights that begged you to give up heaven-lit fires across the nations, when you spoke blessings over those who wounded you, I scattered their curses like ashes in wind. When you forgave even while still bleeding, I sent legions to protect your descendants. You are not just a soul with faith, you are a bloodline breaker. You are the echo of every martyr's prayer. You are the answer to cries that have risen for centuries. And yes, hell knows your name. They have watched you rise too many times to count. They sent confusion to cloud your vision. They sent disappointment to distract you. They sent betrayal to poison you. They sent time itself to wear you down. But you are still here. And that, beloved, is your glory. Not that you always understood, but that you always returned. Even with cracked faith, even with half a voice, even through clenched fists you returned. And I never turned you away. I am not surprised by your weakness. I am moved by it, because every time you cried and still said, God, I'm here, you sounded exactly like my son. You looked like heaven. You shook the underworld. You announced, without knowing, that resurrection cannot be defeated. You carry that same resurrection now. Not in theory, in reality. Right now, as you breathe, your lungs fill with miracle breath. Your heart, though tired, is still a throne I rest on. Your soul, though bruised, is still fragrant with worship. You may feel wounded, but in the spirit, you are radiant, covered in light, crowned with oil. Surrounded by angels who remember every yes you ever gave me, even the ones you whispered through tears, even the ones you gave after being rejected, misunderstood, forgotten. Every one of them is written, and not one will be erased, because I, the Lord your God, remember. I remember your first prayer. I remember the night you almost didn't make it but woke up anyway. I remember the journal you tore up because you thought I didn't read it. I remember the prayers you prayed for others who never thanked you. I remember the days you defended me when others mocked. I remember your hunger when no one else was hungry. I remember your pain, your worship, your laughter, your fire. I remember. And now I come to reward, but not like the world rewards. This reward is not fleeting. It cannot be stolen. It cannot be reversed, because this reward is me. You get me. My presence. My voice. My movement. My power. My spirit resting on you like breath that never leaves. You will walk into rooms and shift atmospheres. You will speak words that feel too strong for your own ears. You will lay hands and see healing you cannot explain. You will dream again, not just for you but for cities. You will weep again, not just in grief but in glory. And you will rise. Not the way they rise. Not in ambition, but in anointing. You will rise like incense, like thunder in velvet, like light in a world grown blind. They will not understand you. Do not expect them to. Your call is older than their opinions. Your covenant is deeper than their approval. Your roots are planted in eternity. And they cannot pull up what I have buried in my spirit. You will no longer walk in fear of rejection, because I have already accepted you. You will no longer bow to the lie that says you missed it, because I hold time, and I say, you are right on time. You will no longer look at others and question your place, because I made only one of you, and even the angels cannot replace you. Beloved, lift your eyes. The night is nearly over, and I have preserved your all for this very hour. Asterisk, this generation needs what only you carry, the way you love, the way you see, The way you refuse to give up. The way you carry pain like a prayer. The way you enter broken places and leave seeds of light. You are my answer to darkness. You are my sound in silence. You are my fire in forgotten places. And now I breathe again on what the enemy tried to kill. Receive this clarity. Strength. Release. Rest. Fire. Favor. Freedom. Because you have waited long, you have worshipped when others wandered. You have fasted when others feasted. You have broken when others built platforms. And now I come to build through you, not for show but for glory, not to elevate ego but to establish eternity. You are not an echo, you are the trumpet. You are not a follower of trends. You are a forerunner of truth. You are not a forgotten seed. You are a burning tree planted by rivers of fire. And you will bear fruit in famine, because I will not let your life dry up. I will water what others called wasted. I will harvest what you thought was lost. I will pour through what you thought was too empty, because I have always been enough. And now I make you full again. Drink, beloved. Let your soul drink deeply of my joy, of my wind. Of my promise, of my unshakable love. This is not the end, this is the beginning. Let it mark you, let it wreck you, let it rewrite you. Let it remind you, you are always mine. If you're still listening, if even one line awakened your spirit, then write amen in the comments. Not for me, but so heaven knows you are still alive, still listening, still burning. Like this message only if it lit something sacred inside you, and subscribe if your soul is ready for the next scroll to open. Because not everyone will be, but you were, and you are, and you will be. Asterisk, you did not survive this long just to return to who you were. You were never meant to go back. You were meant to become. To become the light you kept waiting for. To become the voice you kept listening for. To become the healing you never received. And that's why it's been so painful, because transformation is never quiet. Glory is never weightless. Becoming what I always saw in you requires the kind of breaking that reshapes the soul itself. And you, beloved, have endured the breaking. Your tears were not weakness, they were alignment. Each one fell like seed into soil I was preparing. Not all fruit grows in the sunlight. Some blooms in the shadows where no one claps, where no one cheers, where only angels and I are watching. And we watched. We watched you kneel when you had no words left. We watched you walk away from people who wounded you but never apologized. We watched you bless those who cursed you. We watched you remain faithful with empty hands. And we said, this one is ready. Ready not because of perfection but because of surrender. Ready not because of strength but because of yieldedness. Ready not because of knowledge but because of hunger. Your hunger moved heaven more than your eloquence ever could, because the hungry ones are the dangerous ones. They will go where others won't. They will do what others fear. They will believe when logic says it's impossible. They will love when they have no reason to. And that is what you've done. You have loved without reason. You have believed without evidence. You have obeyed without clarity. And that, beloved, is what opens the floodgates. I am not moved by performance. I am moved by the heart that still beats toward me after being broken by life. And your heart has never stopped beating for me. It slowed, it trembled, it shattered, but it never stopped. And now I come to strengthen it again. Let me place my hand upon your chest now. Let me press my palm against every tremble. Asterisk, let me still the fear that rises when you get too close to joy. Let me show you what it means to feel safe again, safe in my voice, safe in my presence, safe in who you are becoming. You no longer need to hide. You no longer need to shrink so others feel tall. You no longer need to wear the mask of strength. You are safe in me, and safety does not mean you will not be shaken. It means you will not be destroyed. Because your roots run deeper than the winds that howl against you. I made sure of it. I planted you beside waters that never dry, and even when you feel barren, you are bearing fruit unseen, fruit that shifts generations, fruit that your children's children will feast on, fruit that will still speak long after your voice is gone. That is the power of your surrender. It echoes. It builds. It multiplies in silence. And now it will be seen. Not for show but for testimony. Your very existence is a testimony, a living scroll of mercy, a breathing altar of fire. You have walked through valleys they wrote books about. You have survived storms that drowned giants. You have seen beauty in ashes others tried to sweep away. You have praised through pressure and loved through loss. And I am the Lord of glory. Call you my beloved. Not just servant, not just follower, beloved, the one I dance over, the one I sing to, the one I wait for in quiet hours. You have no idea how much joy you bring me just by being still in my presence. Not performing, not proving. Just being. Because I never wanted your perfection. I only wanted your presence. And now you are here. So stay. Let me continue what I started. Do not abort this holy process because of discomfort. Pain is not a sign of failure, it's the sound of reformation. I am reforming your view of me. Reforming your identity, reforming your expectations, reforming your prayers. You will no longer pray like a beggar. You will pray like a son, like a daughter, like one who knows their voice moves mountains.